Hello everybody, New Hampshire Hobby Logger here with the latest update on one of the modifications that we're doing to our gasifier. So it's about 27 degrees outside, it's partly cloudy, it's windy, we're waiting for some snow next week, and we're waiting for some real cold weather. But anyhow, I had a chance to work on this a little bit. Let's get right to it. One of the things that I've found running the gasifier for extended periods is the moisture problem. Any of you that are doing this kind of thing, you kind of understand what's going on. It ends up running real well for a little while, and then the moisture seems to migrate throughout the whole system. I don't care what kind of traps or filters you do. You try to dry your wood, you try to mitigate anything that can get in the way. You've got drains, you've got petcocks all over the place, and it ends up dragging it right through the whole system and then heading right into the engine. So I've tried a whole bunch of different things, and this is one of the water traps right here. This gives me an idea of right where it is. I ran this yesterday. I had a little test run for it on my new filter arrangement, and I'm going to show you what that is in a minute, but let's just do a quick buzz around the corner here. I had to move my manometer set up for this new deal here. The primary filters are over there. I'm doing my best to dry the wood with this handy dandy little swimming pool filter here that keeps everything. It runs off the engine, the exhaust, and goes up that line there, and it gets fairly hot in there, and I dry my wood in the basket there. So that's not so much the problem. The wood's good and dry, I'm not worried about that, but you know, we're still talking maybe 6%, something like that, and then we're talking, you know, 14-15% humidity in the air. I don't care how dry you make anything, unless you can get that right bone dry out of the system, it's gonna go. This was the second radiator in line after after it came out of the expansion tanks, which are right over here, and that went up to the top of there and then down there. And I also had my manometers strangled onto the, tied to it, so I could keep track of it when I was shaking the grate, what the manometers were doing. So I got to get them back there. But anyhow, I traded that in for these towers. They're filled with PeaStone. I made them up yesterday, and I did have a test run last night, and boy, I'll tell you, I was pretty impressed with it. I've got some more work to do to get things sealed at the top, but in effect what I did is I put another T in the line, and I welded the base on here with these, I don't know if you can see it there, but I welded these 2-inch pipe nipples in there, and they come up to about here probably, because I wanted a good surface to weld on. And then I filled this with about 4 scrubber pads right up to about this height, and then this is all filled up with PeaStone. And I use 3/8. I got a little blood on there, that's all right. I use 3/8 PeaStone, and that's right here. So it's all, I washed it before I put it in there, but every time you move that, you're going to get some flakes, you're going to get some dust out of it. And even though I'd washed it previously in the fall and then dried it and stored it and everything, but every time you rub stone together, you're going to make dust. So at least it's in way before the system, and it can collect in along the way. But once it's in there, it's going to be fairly stable, and it's not going to move around, so you're not going to get too much dust made there. But this comes right out of that expansion tanks, and the gas comes down through each one of these, and moisture can get trapped in the sight glass there. So inside, because I only ran it for about, well, maybe a half an hour, 40 minutes last night when I tested it. But you can see the top of the scrubbers right there, and they're still nice and clean yet, and there's no gunk on the inside. It's not really pushing any tars yet. Well, it's not no tar at all. I mean, that's clean. It looks like it's still brand new, so that's a good sign. I suspect the other side is just like that. There was a little moisture in it when I pulled it apart. There's nothing in here. Huh, pretty cool. But I'm sure that down in the stone there, it's going to start trapping some stuff. Now, one thing that I got to point out is that previously to these filters, every time I fired this, I would start up the gasifier in the normal fashion. I would light the char, and I'd put in a big coffee can scoop worth of wood chips that I make for this thing. And let me get turned around here, and they're in here. I've got to get some more. I'm going to empty that dryer here on the next run, 'cause that's all nice and dry. But every time I lit that flare off, I would end up with a column of, like a cone or a column on the inside that was obviously moisture. It was white smoke. It would still make a beautiful flare. We had good color, you know, for what we like to look for. It was kind of a purple with a deep orange in it, and it would, after it warmed up for a while, it would turn to more of a blue color and everything. So you knew everything was going good, but there was still that moisture. And I know that when that, you know, gets switched off and then it goes through the filter, that moisture is going right through all the filters. That's where it's going, guys, and it's going to trap right there. And that's what, after a while, those things get totally contaminated, and then it just blows through the system. This, I'm hoping right now, is going to cure that. So when I fired it off last night, of course, the stone was nice and dry inside of these filters, and I noticed right off. Now I lit the flare off in about 3 minutes. It didn't take very long. After starting the gasifier up, and there was no cone of moisture, none. It was more of a vibrant purple color that had tinges of orange in it, and it settled down after about 10 minutes to a more of a blue color, but there wasn't any sign of moisture coming out of it. I think that's the one thing that I really noticed right off the bat, that you know, something's different. So I'm going to do a bunch more experimenting on this. I have to change some of this stuff because it didn't come out as tight as I wanted to. I've got grease in there to seal these things up while it's running, but I have to build this a little bit better on the inside. And I've got some rope gasket in there and all that kind of stuff that I'll pull apart here and show you in a minute if I can get these covers off. It's got some moisture with it now. I'm seeing that. Okay, let's take a look at it. I can see there's a little bit of moisture on the things, and I would expect that. But it's still fairly clean. It takes quite a while to make enough soot in there to you know, ruin the whole system. Towards the bottom of this pile of stone, I can see that that's drier than it was on the top part, so I suspect it was starting to trap stuff like there. You're seeing it as I'm seeing it. I don't have any idea what this was going to look like. What I have done on the bottom here with this, and I don't know if we're going to see in there, but there's one more scrubber pad down there. Those scrubber pads on the bottom are to block the stone from falling through the whole system. So, get a little grease on my thing here. So there is the first scrubber pad. There's a little bit of moisture on that. Yeah, yeah, that's working. And I want that to happen. This one's wet. That one's wet, but you can see they're still in great shape. I have a brand new one over here for comparison. If I can. These are the ones that I get on Amazon.com. They're I think it's Premier scrubber pads, but that's a new one compared to the one that was used last night. Still good. So anyhow, let's see what the stone looks like. This is the stuff that came just from outside. Yeah, I've got a little pile of it out there. There's snow on it. But this is I'll reuse this stuff. So you can see up top here, it's a little bit, I can see a little more moisture in it. Okay, now we can start to see some water right there. Okay. So that would be the top of the filter. And it didn't really seem to migrate down, I'm surprised. In fact, it didn't show on the in the glass sight jar. It just didn't seem to work its way down through there. It just kind of trapped her right where it was, right top. And I'm a little surprised at that. Unless it just emptied out different that I saw it coming out of the thing, but that's drawing the moisture out of it. A little bit of smoke there. I just put in half a coffee can to get the process started. I gotta show you one other thing that I did here a while back. Seems to make quite a difference. So hang on, we'll swing the camera around. I call it the snot blocker, and it was a issue that I kept having with the gasket on the wood hopper lid, and it was always getting stuck. This creosote and drool and all that stuff would get on there, and it would lift the gasket right off it. And I was fiddling around with all kinds of things trying to figure it out. But this is the surface of it right now, and you can see I've got quite a few hours on this now, and there's nothing on it. And it's what I had done was made this ring right here. I formed that out on the metal roller there, and it's just about a 1-inch piece, and I welded it to the thing. I've got a little gasket right here, and you can see where it collects all the drool and all that stuff right on the inside, and it keeps it inside of the hopper here. So that works out well. I'm liking that. The gasket is still there, still good. It's not a perfect seal, but it's pretty darn close. It seems to work for what I do. So now I'm going to put this back on. It's starting to make a little bit of smoke now. And I'll probably go get one more scoop. I'm about out of here, so I've got some stockpile down back there. I'll get one more coffee can in here, because that's not enough to really get things going. And we're going to give her a shake, because I didn't do anything to it other than just light it. I didn't clean out anything down below here. And we'll shake that up. We should start to see some more smoke coming out of there in a second there when that gets going. So I just kind of leave everything open until we get a good fire going in there and get a little heat built up, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to shut down just for a second here, go get some more wood, and we'll get back to you. No, I'm having a hard time seeing it. You guys that have been doing this for a while, you know what I'm looking for. Okay, so I can see a little bit right there. I know it's still got to be there. I don't know if we're going to get another backfire here in a minute or not. Until that thing gets warmed up inside, and we're only running 150 degrees right now. We haven't been running long. We'll give her a little tunk. I know, I'm working on it. Well, I'm looking around for things catching on fire and I don't see any. Alright, so we're going to put this back on. We're going to touch off the secondary in a minute. That's a pretty nice looking flame. Okay, hang on. Okay, that's going. Don't know if you can see it. Yeah, clear blue. Okay, we're making gas. We'll switch over and we're going to fire off the Left 4 Dead. Just for living proof that this thing actually works. So I'll switch on to the nozzle there. I already got the inverter working. So we'll touch her off.